always cough when you get nervous, Miss Woods?
Yeah.
Mr. Wright, please don't make Miss Woods nervous by pressing her so ruthlessly. But that barely even qualified as a quasi-question. Let's operate with a little small talk before we dive into the cross-examination. You know, ask her about her hobbies and crushes and stuff. Her crushes? Really? I don't know about this.
Hold it!
Why did I need you to go to the courtroom ruins? We went to look for my medicine to stop my coughing. Your medicine? Why would your medicine be in courtroom number 4? I dropped it in the heat of the moment. Bum Rap Ranny, he was keeping my medicine safe for me. He has a little compartment I can put things in, you see. If only found he has the same type of pocket where the bum was inserted. I put my medicine for my coughing fits inside Bum Rap Ranny. When I told Apollo about it, he said he'd help me go look for him. There was so much rubble in there, I was worried, but there was no rubble or anything in front of the witness stand. So when we got inside, Apollo went straight there. I started looking for my Ranny in that area. It was so nice of him to do that for me in spite of his injuries. Apollo's so strong and kind, just like the trees of the forest. The way she makes him sound, you'd think Apollo was some kind of ancient god. Oh, wait. So that's why you went to the ruins, I see. That seems to be quite an important fact. Please add it to your testimony, Miss Woods. That doesn't make any sense. The witness stands surrounded with rubble.
Objection!
So he started his search for the witness stand, you say? That's right. I guess maybe he wanted to start with the furthest point in the room. He was being so brave and strong. But that's odd. Under the circumstances, he shouldn't have been capable of that. But he was, and still is. He might not look it, but he really is brave and kind too. No, that's not the part I'm finding fault with. Someone has a crush on Apollo. What you're claiming is something that no one should have been able to do. But I should think anyone could be brave and kind if they wanted to be, Mr. Wright. True, anyone can be brave and kind, but if you take a look at this diagram, with the courtroom in this state, how is it possible to walk up to the witness stand? Oh! I see your point. The rubble blocks off the access to the area around the witness stand. Does such a tiny inconsistency even matter? Perhaps the witness is simply misremembering it. Great. No, I'm not so sure if it matters. A real man doesn't make mountains out of molehills, you know. But that's precisely what Mr. Wright does best. I call slander, Your Honour. So was it really impossible to approach the witness stand? I have to say it's a bit hard to tell with any accuracy just from this diagram. Mr. Page, have you any photos of the crime scene? Let me see, Your Honor. Ah, yes, I have one more. Here it is. It's a more pulled back version of the photo I presented before. Huh? What's that hunk of metal on wheels? Mr. Payne, is a metallic object in that photo Mr. Tonate's bomb transport case? That's right. Is there some problem? Oh yes, a transport case that was there in the core room number 4 when the bomb went off. It must have been there ever since. Oh, that's it. Miss Woods, have you remembered something? Yeah, I just realised its position. It's different from before. Its position? The position of what? The position of that big metal thing. The bomb transport case? Yeah, when Apollo and I went there, it was in a different place. Where the case is in the photo was an open space, so it was easy to search the stand. I see. So where was the transport case when you and Mr. Justice saw it? As I recall, it was more to the right. To the right? Then that means... In that case, the case was over there at the time of Apollo's attack? Who cares where the transport case was when? What difference does it make? It's nothing to do at all with what we were talking about. Where the transport case was has everything to do with this discussion. It's so important, it's enough to turn the prosecution's argument on its ear. What? Well, that certainly sounds very relevant indeed. You sound as though you know where the case was at the time of the attack. Yes, Your Honour. This diagram represents the crime scene as shown in the photo. And this is where the transport case was at the time of the assault on Mr. Justice. Alright, I have this. The bomb transport case was here at the time of Apollo's attack.
Take that!
Oh dear. It begins. Your Honour, I assert this is where the transport case was at the time of the assault. But that's... inconceivable! Miss Woods, was... Oh, I did get it right. Was this where the transport case was when you saw it? Yeah, that's where it was. Thank you, Miss Woods. I'm sure the court has noted an interesting fact about this position. The transport case covers up the writing in blood. Exactly. If the transport case was in that position at the time of the assault, there's no message that could have been written there because the case was in the way. Which leads us to conclude Mr. Justice wouldn't have left that bloody writing.
Yes.
Why should we believe the defendant's claim that the case was in a different position? She's obviously lying.
Objection!
The fact the case was moved after the assault on Mr. Justice is proved by more than Miss Wood's testimony alone. What? Where's this proof you're talking about? It's right here in the crime photo. I'm keen to see this proof myself, Mr. Wright. What in this photo indicates the transport case was moved after the assault? Tire tracks.
Take that!
Please take a look at the mark that runs over Mr. Justice's bandages here. I see it, but what is it? The mark was made by one of the casters from the transport case carrying the bomb. As the case was moved, it ran over his bandages. In other words, the transport case was never originally to the right of Mr. Justice. The case was originally to the right of Mr. Justice, sorry. That after Mr. Justice was assaulted, the transport case was moved. Just as Miss Woods said, the case was covering the writing the first time of the assault. Therefore, it was impossible for Mr. Justice to have left the message in blood. No! You did it, boss. That was a real nail biter, but you pulled it off. Yep, that should bring down the prosecution's claim like a house of cards. Order! Order in the court! Mr. Wright, that was a very clever deduction. It was nothing, Your Honour. Nothing but pure genius. Take that. Boss, I'm sensing a definite smug and braggy vibe coming from you. I have just one question, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honour. If Mr. Justice didn't leave the message in blood, who did? Huh? What? Well, it looks like you should have taken the train to 404 from the last station. Well, I've heard a lot about this. So this is Mr. Wright's famous bluffing technique, is it? Oh, this feeling brings back memories of the old days. Back when you carved out a name for yourself by bluffing your way through thick and thin. Gee, Mr. Wright, Judge kind of makes you sound no better than a two-bit con man. You made your argument with such confidence, Mr. Wright. I'd like to hear your answer with just as much confidence. Hey, until the judge asked a question you didn't catch on either, dickhead. What now, boss? I hope you didn't bluff your way into a corner. Think, Phoenix, think. There must be a way through this. I have to dig my way to the truth somehow. Who could have written the message in blood? If Apollo didn't leave the bloody writing, maybe it was Apollo's attacker who wrote it and made it look like Apollo did it. That seems like the most reasonable explanation. Wait a minute, I just realised something, boss. What is it? Look at the amount of blood in the photo. It doesn't look like Apollo bled very much. I wonder if it's even pointing to write out words with just this much. It's possible to write out words with just this much. Hey, you're right. Good thing Apollo didn't lose that much blood. That might be a factor he might have survived the assault. And since there's so little blood, that pretty much rules out his attacker, huh? I guess so. Well, if it wasn't his attacker, who else could it have been? If it wasn't Apollo, who could have left the bloody message?
Take that!
This person left the bloody writing? And what do you base this claim on? Do I really need to base my claim on something? Boss! Of course you do! Don't tell me you don't have anything at all to back up your assertion. Nothing in particular, really. I won't do, Mr. Wright, but a penalty will make up for your deficiency very nicely. So it wasn't Apollo or his attacker. Well, you think he was at the crime scene? There's only one other person who could really be? Yeah, wasn't there another person who shed blood at the crime scene? Ah, surely not.
Take that!
To be honest, I don't actually have any real proof of this, but I've come this far, so there's no saying. I've come this far, there's no turning back now. Besides, Apollo, there was one more person who should... Oh, fucking hell. Besides Apollo, there was one more person who shed blood at this crime scene. A person who shed blood? You don't mean... Oh, but I do. I believe it was Candace Arm who left behind this message in blood. What? Yeah, doesn't that just incriminate June? What? Detective Arm? You sure you know what you're doing here? Not really.
Objection!
What kind of ridiculous assertion is that? If you'd said the attacker left the message to throw people off, it might have made sense. At first glance, I would seem more a reasonable explanation. However, Apollo didn't shed enough blood to write such an extensive message. Uh-oh. I see, even the photo makes it clear there wasn't enough blood to write all those letters. And Mr. Justice did survive. I hope he didn't bleed very extensively in that... I suppose he didn't bleed very extensively in that case. Why did Detective Arm write the defendant's name? There's no connection between the two whatsoever. They never even met each other. That's very true. Well then, let's see. Maybe the intended meaning of the message is not what it appears to be. The intended meaning? Not what it appears to be. Maybe the message was not intended to be woods. Coming from you, that's quite the bold statement, Mr. Wright. You wish to assert this bloody handwriting could have had some other meaning? Yes, Your Honour. For some reason I pulled out of a wormhole. It could be true. It could turn out to be true, right?
Objection!
It clearly says woods, as anyone can plainly see. What other meaning could it possibly have? But Candace Arm was a detective. Maybe woods only means something to the police. Like a police scanner code, for example. Oh, I didn't think of that. You may have tricked His Honour, but you'll never get the best of me. I have a thing for studying on the weekends, as you may have already guessed. There's no such radio code as woods in this state, my dear Mr. Wright. Is that a fact? Don't look at me, I know as much as you do about police codes. Enough of this. I was quite taken on the defence's new theory. But if they can't substantiate it with anything, I must end things here. No, please wait, Your Honour. Very well, but before I discuss this theory any further, I demand a plausible explanation. So, Mr. Wright, what's the true meaning of the bloody writing? Well, I believe it's... And no stalling! You can't come up with an answer quickly, I'll declare the discussion officially over. I'm in trouble now. What other meaning could it have besides the obvious one? Maybe it meant something in another language? Or maybe it's a code? Oh, shit. Which piece of evidence shows us what the word woods really means? The bomb transport case! I've heard about up to here of your shenanigans, Mr. Wright. Look at the numbers on the case, Your Honour. L100... Fucking autoplay turned on, bastard thing. L100L5R. Doesn't this look vaguely familiar? L100... What does this have to do with anything? What do those numbers possibly have to do with the case at hand? Now please take a look at the bloody writing shown in the crime photo. Oh, I think I see it. That a girl. This one... That's one on my side. It says Woods. Or you could say it's a horse of a different colour, Your Honour. The first character isn't a W, it's actually an L and a 1, and the next are 2 zeros. Oh my goodness! The true meaning behind the bloody writing isn't Miss Wood's name, it's the number engraved on the bomb transport case. What are you talking about? The next part doesn't make any sense. The next number is a 1, but the bloody writing says D.
Objection!
The number on the case and the bloody writing can be made to match up quite easily. This is how the number on the transport case can be made to match the bloody writing. One line or two. I think it's 1. All we have to do is erase one line from the writing. Erase one line from where? Anywhere you like. Anywhere I'd like. And erase one of the O's. What? What's that supposed to mean? Your state of mind. I believe it stands for wise, optimistic, dauntless and serene. Boss, what in the world? There's no time for a psychology test. I can't say my state of mind is exactly serene right now, Mr. Wright. I guess our just one line won't do the trick. Please refrain from making things up as you go along. Now try again. 2 lines then. Erase the third downward stroke of the W and the curved part of the D. Ah. Whoa, would you look at that? Lewis? No, Your Honour, it isn't meant to be read as a word. It's the number L10015, which if you take away the final R, it's the exact number that's on the bomb transport case. Erase 2 lines and they match up, you say? Well, I can change anything into anything else simply by erasing 2 lines. What if we erase 2 lines from your name? Would you be happy, Mr. Rye? Well, would you, Mr. Rye? The only right spelling is right. Okay, I'm doing pretty well here, and I think I've drawn the right conclusion. Detective R's real message to us is the bomb transport case number. Your Honour, the 2 lines were added by the real culprit to intentionally mislead people. Huh? The original message Detective Arm left was behind the transport case number. Whoever assaulted Apollo changed the message. If you're right, boss, what do you suppose Detective Arm's going to try and tell us? Question. Excuse me. Good question. What does this number represent? Candace Arm lost her life in the courtroom bombing. Her dying message can only have served one purpose. No! To tell us the name of the one responsible for the bombing. Well, don't keep us in suspense, Mr. Wright. Tell us who she's trying to name! The culprit the victim was trying to identify is none other than Ted Donate.
Take that!
The defense wishes to indict Mr. Ted Donate on the charge of the courtroom bombing. Ted Donate? Apparently disabling bombs isn't Mr. Tonate's only specialty. Somehow the victim must have realised he was the bomber. So when she was caught in the blast, she left his bomb transport number as her dying message. She used Mr. Tonate's own ID number to finger him for the crime. Why would anyone go out of their way to write an ID number? Wouldn't they simply write the person's name? He's got a point there. What do you have to say to that, Mr. Wright? That only Detective Arm would know the answer to that, but to allow me to offer a theory. Perhaps Detective Arm couldn't recall Mr. Tonate's name in the heat of the moment. As I recall, it was the first meeting between the two. It's entirely possible they wouldn't have been familiar with each other. Maybe using the ID number as a way to hide its true meaning from the real culprit. Plus knowing the odds they would erase the bloody writing. But no matter what the reason, the important thing is the meaning behind her message. The fact remains she wrote Mr. Tonate's ID number.
Objection!
Now wait just 1 minute here. There hasn't been any proof yet it was indeed Detective Arm who wrote it. The bloody writing wasn't found during the investigation after the blast. If Detective Arm had left the message, it would have been found in that time.
Objection!
Naturally, Mr. Tonate hid it before anyone could discover it, and there's a simple explanation for how he was able to do so. But Mr. Tonate was able to cover the message up because the first person to discover the bloody writing was Mr. Tonate himself. Oh, damn it. Sorry. Sleep. Lack of sleep's catching up to me again. The things I do for my audience of one. When Mr. Tonate saw the victim had written his ID number, he used the bomb transport case to cover up the bloody writing as a stopgap measure. Oh, that's why the message in blood was under the transport case. He didn't have enough time to try and scribble away the writing. If he didn't report the body right away, he would look suspicious. So those letters lived on to serve another function, or Mr. Tonate used them in another incident. Oh, the assault on Mr. Justice! Exactly. Mr. Tonate hit upon the plan to use the bloody writing for his own purpose, so he didn't clear it away, instead made it look like Mr. Justice wrote it, by adding 2 lines to the writing that the detective arm left behind. It changed the meaning of the message. It made it look like Mr. Justice was accusing Miss Woods of the attack. So that means the only person who could have altered the bloody writing in the court was the courtroom bomber, who was the same person that assaulted Mr. Justice. And that person is Ted Ternate. Order in the court! Order, I say! It looks like we'll have to hear from the bomb specialist himself. Mr. Payne, please have Mr. Ternate take the witness stand. Yes, Your Honour. That was great, Mr. Wright. Just doing what I do best. Flying by the seat of my pants. I've finally drawn Mr. Ternate back to the witness stand. Looks like you'll get your wish, Gobble Man. Now watch me take your lies apart. Mr. Ternate, I'm afraid we have a few more questions for you. I understand the situation, Your Honour. I was keeping a close eye on the proceedings from the gallery. The allegations are all laughable.
Objection!
I wouldn't be laughing if I were you, Mr. Ternate. The message in blood matches your ID number. Same ID number on that there bomb transport case. Such a far-fetched theory, no better than a tangled ball of wires. I'll have them all untangled for you in no time at all. You're the first person on the scene after Detective Arm left her message in blood. You're the only one who could have hidden the writing and then used it again later. I see, ×2. But then let me ask you, do you have any proof that Detective Arm wrote the message? That's a very good question. Do you, Mr. Wright? The best way to prove that Detective Arm wrote the message is to... Your Honour, I request a DNA test be performed on the blood itself. Once we know who it is, it'll be obvious who wrote the message. Very well. Bailiff, put in a request for a DNA test for the forensics team. Yes, Your Honour. It'll be some time before we have the results of the analysis. Until then, let's hear more from the witness. I would like nothing more, Your Honour. I want the court to hear how ridiculous the defence's theory is. I admit I was the first one on scene after the explosion. There was no bloody writing there at the time. There is no way Detective Arm could have written it. She struck her head on rubble and died near the courtroom entrance. She was too far away from where the bloody message was found. What you're saying is the victim's body was nowhere near where the writing was? Precisely. It's as plain as day she could not have written it herself. It's true the body was discovered near the entrance to the courtroom. Have a look at the crime scene photo. As you can see, there's blood on the rubble near the victim's body. She must have died after hitting her head there. I see. Let's have a proper look, shall we? Oh, I can't see her fingers. Typical. Alright then, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Do you have what it takes to take my invaluable testimony apart?
Hold it!
Why were you the first person on scene? To secure the area. It is regulation for a bomb disposal specialist to enter first. In other words, you had the opportunity to alter the bloody writing then, didn't you? Well...
Objection!
Mr. Wright, please don't interrupt. Mr. Tonek was about to give testimony that will show how wrong your reasoning is. Darn, I think he was just about to say something interesting too. When I went in and saw the aftermath, it was quite the disaster.
Hold it!
You were able to tell this even with the goggles on? With the goggles, there is no way I could have missed something like that. I can see quite well with them. In fact, I see every hair on your spiky head. You have a few greys, Mr. Wright. What? Oh, Mr. Wright, you're always working so hard keeping our office together. Wait a minute, I don't have grey hairs. Oh, you might do, Phoenix. I'm already getting them and I'm only 30. Just kidding.
Objection!
I object to the witness's attempt to prematurely give me grey hair. Mr. Toney, the court frowns upon untoward comments of a person's hair or lack thereof. I'm sensing a great weave of sorrow coming from the judge. My apologies, Your Honour. May I please continue my testimony?
Hold it!
If she didn't write it, then who do you propose did? Mr. Justice, of course. Just before dying, he wrote the name of his attacker, Juniper Woods. A final message from your poor subordinate. Poor Mr. Justice, I'm starting to get all misty-eyed. Apollo's not dead, folks. How can you be so sure it wasn't Detective Arm who wrote the message? It is very simple.
Hold it!
Do you imagine she was thrown back by the force of the blast? A bomb can inflict damage not only from the explosion itself, also the substantial secondary damage from the blast wind. Detective Arm unfortunately hit her head on some rubble. It says in her autopsy report as well. Cause of death, trauma to back of head. Ah, the autopsy report. I better take another look at that. I know where this is going. Now do you see? Detective Arm could not have written the message. The reason for that being... she was too far away from where the bloody message was found.
Hold it!
Isn't it possible she could have crawled to the area of the bloody message? If that were true, how did she return to the spot near the entrance? Maybe she crawled back after writing it? This guy just me. Would you like to get down on the floor and give us a demonstration of your theory? Huh? No, thank you. The victim's body and the writing are several yards away from each other. There's no way she could reach. Quite the conundrum. So, that means something is off somewhere. There must be a contradiction. Maybe the body was moved? That doesn't explain how blood got onto the rubble. What if it were done by the real culprit after the fact? If that's the case, something about that night contradicts the evidence we have.
Objection!
Thought so. You're a terrible liar, Mr. Tonate. Take a look at this autopsy, specifically the part about Detective R's head injury. Cause of death, trauma to back of head, caused by impact with a flat object. Yes, what about it? Now take a good look at the bloody piece of rubble. Sharp and pointed. Hey, you're right, boss. It is pointy. Just like your hair. That is odd, isn't it? What could be the meaning of this contradiction? I believe it means the victim did not hit her head on this piece of rubble. The bloodstain you see is another fabrication. Its purpose is to mislead us into thinking the victim died near the courtroom entrance. Are you claiming the culprit moved the victim's body? That's exactly what I'm claiming. The victim hit her head at some other location, more likely on the floor or some other flat surface, and this location was somewhere near where the bloody writing was found. In that case, she definitely could have written the message. Your Honour, I have the results of the blood analysis. Very good timing, let's take a look. According to the report, the message was indeed written in Detective R's blood. The defence's claims the only parts of the message were added afterwards. I'm sorry. According to this report, the message was written in Detective R's blood, and just as the defence claims, only parts of the message that were divided afterwards were written in Mr. Justice's blood. It would appear the defence assertion was correct after all. You did it! You were right, boss! Now I have to drive it home. I have to take a good look at the bloody writing analysis later. Mr. Tonate, it's now apparent you have told several lies to this court. I hope you have some sort of explanation for yourself. Ellipses, 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 ellipses. Fine, I will confess. You will? Why are you so calm? This time I will tell the truth. It is true Detective Arm wrote my ID number. She very plainly wrote L10015R. I was shocked. I did not detonate the bomb. Detective Arm must have mistaken me for the real bomber, not wanting to be accused. I moved the body and covered the writing. My bad. I see, so your assertion she merely moved the body, is that it? That is correct. I did not kill Detective Arm. Well, if that's all you did, then... Wait a minute. That in and of itself is a criminal act. Glad to see you finally crossed the finish line, Your Honour. Very well then, your cross-examination please, Mr. Wright.
Hold it!
You admit you actually did see the bloody writing that Detective Arm left. My bad, I should have said so from the outset. And you're sure it was your ID number? I am sure it is definitely my ID number. The number was assigned exclusively to me by the police department. The number is assigned to my goggles as well. So those funky things were provided by the police department? Although these are special goggles customized by me personally. Speaking of personalized, these sunglasses of mine were custom made as well. They were specially created to be particularly dark and shiny. Speaking of special, my gavel's made of mahogany and was custom made as well. Specially created to make a particularly loud and resounding sound. Wish I had something to brag about. Be all that as it may, I just want to reconfirm you saw the bloody writing clearly. That it was your ID number. That is correct. My ID number was written in blood on the floor.
Hold it!
And it was written after the bomb went off in the courtroom? Correct. I did not know why she would write it, so it sent me into a panic. Sounds like you were in quite the tizzy. If I were in his shoes, I guess it would have psyched me out too. I can't imagine coming across the message "Psych's" written in blood. If I saw gasp and pain written in blood, it'd certainly make me gasp. Rest assured, Mr. Terminator, I understand how you must have felt. And so you discovered your ID number written in blood at the scene, and... That is right. I saw it with my own eyes. It clearly said L10015R.
Hold it!
Didn't you? The victim may have had special knowledge of who the bomber was. I have no idea what thoughts Detective R may have had inside her head. It's not like I ever dismantled her mind to check. Mr. Wright, if you have suspicions about the witness, let's see your proof. Evidence is everything in a court of law. Even school children know that. How many years have you been a defense attorney now? cut me some slack, will you? Don't feel bad, boss. You just got your attorney's badge back after all. In that sense, you're still more of a beginner than I am. I suppose I should be thankful you're not a licensed psychologist. Mr. Tone, please continue with your testimony. With pleasure. My ID number was left at the scene, but...
Hold it!
By mistaking me, you had nothing to do with the explosion? That is correct. That is why I was so shocked when I saw my ID number. The victim may have suspected Mr. Tennant was for no reason other than the fact that, as the bomb specialist, he was in charge of the bomb. In other words, a false accusation. It's vocational discrimination, I say. I do not support discrimination of any kind. Well spoken, Your Honour. If the victim had been found... If the victim had been found to be killed with a gavel, Mr. Blue Suit over there would probably have pinned the crime on you. He would? Well, that just wouldn't do. Mr. Wright, if you dare try and pin anything on me, I'll find you in contempt of court. But I never even tried to harm a hair on your, strand on your beard, Your Honour. Well said, Mr. Payne, because I am so closely associated with bombs, I was afraid I would be prosecuted if anyone saw the bloody writing.
Hold it!
You didn't think to clean away the bloody writing? I didn't have time. By the time I found the message, the blood was already dry. The police were waiting just outside for me to secure the room. And I still had to move the body. I was in a panic. With no time to spare, I temporarily covered the writing with my case. Did you think the police would find during their investigation? Regulation stipulates only specialists may touch transport cases. Because of the danger, you see. I thought I would clean up the writing once they were finished. My bad. My bad. Does he really think they'll just magically smooth everything out? This guy is something else. I don't believe Detective Arm's dying message was just some mistake. He won't wriggle out of it this easily. What did Mr. Tone see when he first discovered the bloody writing? There has to be a contradiction hidden in his testimony somewhere.